All right, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, Connor Unchained. So this video, I'm going to just talk about a couple things with Bitcoin, ETH, and total market cap of mainly the whole crypto market right now, excluding the top 10 altcoins, and a little bit about some altcoins today, but I'm not going to dive heavy into any alts specifically right now. So let's look at Bitcoin. So I mean, on a weekly, this chart looks crazy. It looks like it is just primed to continue up. But if we zoom in, even on the RSI, it's starting to look pretty good. Everything is lining up like very well, in my opinion, for a continued next leg up. So that does not mean that, from current levels today, next week we're going to be at 80K. Like, absolutely not. The main thing I'm looking at and focusing on for Bitcoin currently is it's going to be this level, or not even level, this range here. If you want to call it a range, you can call it a wedge, whatever you want. But for me, this is kind of what I've been looking at the market like, or just watching it as, just watching it inside this wedge. Yeah, I can't even talk today. But in my opinion, we are either going to have a little bit more of a pullback before we bounce and break into a new high, or we're going to pull back at least till low 60s before we bounce, find more momentum, catch even more momentum, and have a nice clean break, maybe in early November. I would not be surprised if it takes until, even just after the election, and the election is what sparks this huge, God candle just for Bitcoin to break out. But that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. It's literally just going to be, what is Bitcoin doing inside of this range, in this area? That's it. I do not think that we're going to just start going lower. The main thing I'm going to question is if we do end up making price action look like it wants to dump. And I'll show you guys an example. Is it like, let's say we just have really bearish momentum. Momentum picks up, but then starts to form something like this where, it starts to just look like it wants to start dumping like that. It starts to coil up in the other way versus, high time frame, it's coiling up this way. Then at that point, we're probably going to see more downside. But at the end of the day, like I said, I really don't see any major reason as to why Bitcoin would actually fall this much lower at the current time that we're sitting in. So like I said, I'm very bullish on the market right now. I don't think there's any reason to be, expecting anything lower than like 62, 63 worst case short term. I think at some point, no matter what we do, we'll bounce around in this range. We'll come down, come up. There's a 90% chance in my mind versus 10% chance that we go higher. 90% chance we'll be up here within a month or two. 10% chance we're going to be well below this line, for some reason dumping like crazy. So overall, like I said, I think it looks very good. We got ETH still showing a lot of strength here. It's almost similar as to what Bitcoin's doing. Similar momentum. In my opinion, it's just forming and waiting for just one more heavy push. And same thing, you can kind of consider this in another wedge, or maybe not a wedge because this one's kind of more rounded here, but you could kind of consider like this, just draw something like that. But same thing, I think Ethereum is just gearing up. It's preparing to start running, starting for a move. It could pull something like this, little pullback, little chop in the middle of this range, then a break, or we could chop sideways, come back down, have some reason like a pretty nice dump, bounce around, and then break. Either way, I'm expecting a small pullback from ETH at some point. It may take a few days, may take 2 weeks, and then a breakthrough. That's it. I'm incredibly bullish right now. Everything chart-wise looks even better on ETH and primed to actually just have a huge rip. RSI momentum is just showing clear strength, right? And honestly, it's like, even for indicators, guys, the RSI on a high time frame is one of the only things I use I don't really focus on too much else because the RSI is just showing very clear momentum in what the market wants to do or what the market's actually doing. You know, it's same idea here. If you just look at what ETH did and just look at Solana now, same exact idea of what I'm talking about, exactly what I think Ethereum's doing or going to do. You know, Ethereum, though, I think Ethereum is like right here where it may have to come back down, bounce one more time until it breaks through. That would be worst case scenario. Best case, you know, Ethereum's like right here. You know, we're pulling back and we're gearing up to just, you know, finally break through. We are literally at one of those two phases for Ethereum, if you want to put it like this, because it's like Ethereum is like right here, just under its high, right? But, you know, I mean, Solana is showing a lot of strength here, showing that I think it really wants to start pushing way higher from here. And so the other thing I wanted to talk about in this video, again, is the total market cap excluding the top 10. So this is something I think is very key in the market right now because, again, if we're gearing up for huge moves across the board, right? I mean, we've seen a ton of meme coins already pull, you know, 3x's, 5, 10x's across the board, showing insane strength in the market. But yet, look at where the total market cap of, you know, outside of the top 10, a bunch, I think the first, 500 to a couple thousand altcoins in market cap and where they are sitting. We technically have not even started yet. Same exact thing. This is in, if you want to call it a wedge, or if you like, you know, how I do it, how just, you know, it's rounded out, the momentum is building, and it's eventually going to break out. Whatever you guys technically like to do, as far, like I said, with technicals, you know, we're on the verge of breaking out into a new explosive run for, you know, altcoins, basically. But the thing is, this is at $200 billion. I think for the entire altcoin market cap, that's very small for what it is. But the thing, just to show you guys the potential, just to get back to all-time high that we saw in 2022 for altcoins, is already a 100% gain, which means anything you're holding, if this bull cycle plays out like it's supposed to, like we all expect it to, you should already expect, if you're in some low cap stuff, at least a 100% move is going to be coming across the board for most altcoins, right? I mean, unless you're holding some shit like Zcash, XRP, Dash, like some old ass coins that, you know, aren't doing anything, I would highly recommend to get out of those. If you're holding newer altcoins with a lot of potential already this cycle, those are going to be some of the best ones that are going to easily pull moves like this. But again, that is only just to get back to all-time highs. That doesn't include if we're going a lot higher into price discovery, which, I mean, we could go anywhere from, we could hit anywhere from 700 billion, 800, 900 billion. You know, we could go to $1 trillion. Am I targeting $1 trillion though in market cap for all these alts? You know, I don't know. It's going to be very hard to know. But I think a safer bet, again, I think would be in between 800 to 900. Or honestly, just to make it even safer, let's just do 750 billion. Because let's say if this is around 250 billion already, so that's about a 200% gain. So basically you're tripling your money just based off being in altcoins. And if we're going to get a little bit of a run into price discovery for alts, you know. But the other thing about this though is what I wanted to talk about is the fact that we're still here and a lot of major altcoins are going to be the ones pulling this stuff. So what that means for your low caps and micro caps, you know, if you're aiming for a 10x, you know, for a gaming token, right? It's sitting on Ethereum, but bro, your token is going to, say your gaming token is a good one. It's going to do a 10x. Ethereum though is currently at what, 2,500. Ethereum is going to be a token that probably pulls at least a 100% gain, maybe even higher. Maybe it goes to 150, 200% gain. You know, this kind of includes everything outside of the top 10 coins, but I'm just thinking about Ethereum alone. I don't think it's going to pull, you know, crazy X's Ethereum at current levels, but I mean, for me to expect Ethereum at like 5, 6, 7,000, I feel like it's very, very reasonable. But just think about that for your altcoin bags. If your coin does 10x, it's a low cap, you get a 10x on your hands, right? But that's at Ethereum at current levels. That does not include when Ethereum ends up pulling a 100% to 200% gain over the span of the next few months. So what that means for your altcoin bag is if you're holding an Ethereum token now, yes, you're technically doing a 10x, but then if Ethereum doubled from when the time you got in, or Ethereum triples, you're basically adding an extra 10x to your 10x bag already. So it's technically an actual 20x unrealized that you've made because Ethereum in the underlying asset has doubled while you're holding a token on that underlying asset that is now 10x. You know, if that makes sense. That is something I think a lot of people are kind of fading and not thinking too much about. The same thing with Solana. You know, I think with Solana, it's right around here, 167. You know, to think of what Solana can't do minimum 50% back to all-time highs. You know, I think very reasonable for Solana to go over $300. I think this cycle is definitely going to happen. Again, the fact that it's still, you know, some of the, it's literally like the most popular blockchain currently. That shows how dark it is in here, my fault. But I think it has a ton of potential as well. But same thing, if you're holding really good memes on Solana, a lot of those memes are going to have some of the best performing returns in the bull run. But it also does not include the fact that if Solana does a 100% gain or 200% gain, you are technically getting, instead of a 20x that your meme coin does, if Solana doubles, you're actually getting a 40x unrealized based on your USD value. You know, that is something a lot of people don't think about. You know, and I kind of just want to bring it to your attention because, again, most altcoins are still sitting at the lows here. This would be a different convo if, for some reason, you know, all major altcoins were way up here, but yet, you know, a lot of meme coins, a lot of utility projects, for some reason, hadn't run yet or something. So, like I said, I think we're gearing up for major runs across the board. And like I said, I personally think there's no reason to be, you know, heavily bearish, especially on short time frames here. Like, bro, in my opinion, any sort of dip that you can find on good projects, good memes, those should be eaten up. I don't care what the price is. It's like we're going a lot higher from current levels if this plays out like we're all expecting, right? So whatever levels you're getting at or even thinking about, once Bitcoin's at 80K, 90K, the levels in the alts that you had, they're never going to be touched again unless, you know, the cycle really ends or for some reason we go through another multi-month downtrend, you know, which is never out of the cards either. But, you know, it's definitely good to prepare now, like rather than waiting for confirmation, waiting for Bitcoin to already be at all-time highs, because that is going to be like you're basically going to be top blasting some good coins. You'll be almost late to it, you know, buying into other people's bags, you know, because you didn't have the conviction to jump in earlier, right? Outside of that, though, that's what I got for you guys this video. It's so dark. It just got dark in 20 minutes here. But I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. I'm going to cover a lot more stuff on different ecosystems and things like that. So appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.